You guys have been doing a really good work in informing a lot of people about this. Why is it that this question hasn't been asked? Because when I actually started looking at all of the services they offer, it's a lot.
No, community health centers have done such a tremendous job in providing health care for families around this country. They've been around a long time. And in fact, one of the things I'd also like to point out today is that when we passed Obamacare and Democrats for Life did support it, we included $10 billion for community health centers to prepare for the expanded number of patients that they would receive with the Medicaid expansion and things like that. So when people say that if we cut off the funding for Planned Parenthood, that these community health centers couldn't absorb those patients,
right.
They have to just look at what the preparation, there's already preparation put ahead to prepare for increased clientele.
I had someone deny that to me.
There's been reports about the readiness.
I love that you pointed that out, because I actually had someone publicly on social media deny that, because I pointed out, well, didn't Obamacare actually include funding for this? They said, oh, no, that was something that was taken out later. But no, that actually ended up passing.
No, it was included. It was included $11 billion, which is a pretty big number, but because they were expecting the community health center clientele to almost double. And it has increased a lot, but they certainly could undertake 2.7 million patients if we did shut out the funding to Planned Parenthood.
Yes, and that's what Cecile Richards had said, that she had remarked, well, if we defund Planned Parenthood, and if we're unable to stay in business, the medical community, and they don't have enough resources, and they're just not going to be able to absorb those patients. But yeah, they would, and I would also think that reallocating the money that is going towards Planned Parenthood to these clinics, that would probably go a long way in helping that absorption.
Right, and we were concerned at first with just a plain defunding bill, which is why we were trying to look for alternatives. So we think that putting the money to the community health centers and other Title X clinics that are approved by the government is a really good, positive thing to do, because prevention is very important for if we are going to reduce the abortion rate.
Right, and tell me a little bit about some of the services that the community health centers provide. And I only listed just a few, and I know that, it's quite comprehensive.
Right. They do everything that a regular doctor's office would do, immunizations, and I think the best one though is they do mammograms.
Yes.
And as you know, that was one of the things that Planned Parenthood took away funding from the Susan Komen Foundation a couple years ago. And when they said, well, we want to keep our $500,000 grant for mammograms, when they actually don't even do them. And that created a big PR boondoggle for Planned Parenthood, and they raised millions and millions of dollars. And what people don't know is that the Komen Foundation lost like $22 million that year. Wow. That took away from grants to other organizations to provide mammograms.
Yes.
So it was a huge, if you really care about women's health, you would have let that $500,000 grant go, and to places that do provide mammograms for women.
And the location of these clinics, because there are so many of them, and I was actually, when I started, and it was because of the work that you guys had done in raising awareness for this, they're in rural areas, they're in urban areas, because there aren't really Planned Parenthood clinics in rural areas, and there are poor people in rural areas, and they need access to these services too.
Right, absolutely. The community health centers target areas of need, so they are all over the entire country. And you mentioned the number, they greatly outnumber the Planned Parenthood clinics. And it's in 31 states. 31 states have 10 or fewer Planned Parenthood clinics. Wow. And the community health centers are there, and they're there to take care of the people who need it, and they do really good work.
Right. What is the likelihood of this money being redirected towards these clinics? Because they handle not just women, they also handle men, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that. They deal with everybody from babies to adults. This seems to be like the logical decision. I don't see how this would be so hard for Congress.
Well, I think the Democrats, they're going to have to decide, are they going to protect the corporate interests of the abortion industry? Are we going to try to get money to community health centers and other organizations that really are doing the lion's share of protecting the health of men and women around this country? And I think it's time for the Democrats to say no more.